Against Chelsea, 2 promotions, 2 relegations, 3 relegations, 3 promotions, 3 relegations, I'm losing count. Plenty of experiences. Those also done little bits of things that you want to get into as well. It's column on the BBC Sport website. We need to get up again, don't we? Slow down a little bit. If ever there was a list of Wickham Wanderers, you're speaking to now, okay? So if you want to record anything, by all means, come to the phones on the table. This is part of the project. Questions you want to ask, fire away. We've got about 10 or 15 minutes.
Is that okay? No, you start.
Yeah, feel free to record anything. Food will come out in 10 15 minutes. So this is your opportunity to ask questions to them. Okay? So thanks, Charles. Yeah.
Just wondering tonight, Secretary Trophy is really good for youth football. How important is this trophy just to get the youth football through and get some minutes this season?
Well, yeah, most clubs that's right. We don't have a youth team here or under 23, so it's slightly different for us. The best thing for us in this trophy is that it gives squad players, peripheral lads who haven't maybe had that many league minutes, just some time on the pitch really. We're quite lucky this year that we've got a bigger squad, so it's kind of been ideal. These games in the past have been a little bit of a pain that we don't want to risk people playing in the games, you know what I mean? It's not as important to league, but now it's been great for us because it's going to give, I think, maybe 7 or 8 changes tonight, and it just gives people minutes on the pitch. We've won both games so far in the competition, so if we can go far, then that's an added bonus. For the club, there's 10 grand to win, I think. So that's obviously for a club of our size, that's important as well. So maybe the youth element doesn't quite work for us as much as maybe like an Oxford tonight, who've got a youth team. I'm sure going to give them some valuable experience.
You've got a large mixture of youth and experience in your team. How important is that when it comes to cup games for the players who have been in those potential cup runs throughout the years and maybe have gone to the Premier League playoffs and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think in league and cups, it's great to have that blend because too much youth and enthusiasm, and then you might not see games out and might not have the know-how about too many of the older players. Then you might not have that energy that you need about you. So I think we've got a great blend. Last year we had a lot of experience and probably one of the oldest teams in the country in the league, and we got promoted. So there's different ways about it. The good thing about experienced players, if you have the right character of experienced players, is that you can just drag every last bit of energy out of them to achieve before they retire. If you have the wrong character of an older player, then they might, if they're not in the team, they might drag others down because they're on their way out, etc., etc. So we've got a great mixture. Some of the young lads tonight, a couple, Nick Freeman, Scott Cashitt, some of those lads have not played in the league recently. It will be great for them to have an opportunity tonight to impress the manager and put themselves in the frame Saturday.
Going on about Nick Cashitt, obviously he scored in the previous 2 Chester Trophy games. What's he got to do in his cup appearances to get himself to break into the first team?
Well, I think he did. I think the last round here against Fulham, he scored the winner. And then he got a couple of league appearances, and for whatever reason he's found himself back out of the team again. So, like you say, if he scores again tonight and plays really well, then he puts himself back in the frame again. So that's the added bonus of this competition. Is it does, the gaffer wants to utilise the squad. So the lads who maybe feel like they're not being used on a Saturday so much, they get that opportunity to impress. And if he does it again tonight, I'm fairly sure that he'll be involved on Saturday in some capacity.
What's it like working under Gareth? Is it good having a manager that's always pushing for the win, always pushing in all competitions for the win?
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I was his roommate for 3 years. We were teammates, and then he became my manager. So that was obviously a real change in our relationship. We went from being mates and friends to boss and employees as such. So that was a real change. But that's been 5, 6 years now, and he's really grown as a manager. To start off with, he was obviously inexperienced as a manager. Very enthusiastic. The lads all wanted to do well for him, but we couldn't quite find a blend of how we were going to go about that. And the first full season we nearly got relegated, and literally from that point, the gap has grown. He's learned. He knew what didn't work, so it enabled him. Sometimes the greatest failures are your biggest experiences, aren't they? And he's used that. And then since that day at Torquay, where we survived by the skin of our teeth, he's really grown as a manager, and he carries that energy every day, every game. He wants to win them all, and he believes that he can win them all, and that sort of spreads throughout the team. Like I say, we overachieved last year, ridiculously so. I think we had something like the 14th best budget in the league, and we finished third. So this year again, our budget doesn't quite anywhere near where we are at the moment. So if we keep overachieving, that obviously all comes down to the money.
In terms of being like an experienced player, obviously you've played a lot of great FA Cup, been involved in a lot of great FA Cup runs. Would you say a good run in the league or a good run in the cups? Would you prefer?
The league, really, because that's your bread and butter. Like, do you know what I mean? Because that's what pays the mortgage. But you don't remember the good league seasons as much as the good cup run. You know, we got to the semi-final of the League Cup here just over 10 years ago. 10.5 years ago, we played against Chelsea in the semi-final, and I'll remember those two games forever. Whereas I played, I'm not sure how many league games, 400 maybe, and it's hard to pick out one or the other unless you're reminded, if you know what I mean. So, you know, your league's the bread and butter, and that's where you get your promotions and earning new contracts, and that's how you pay your mortgage for the cup run. So that's what when you retire, they're the ones you remember. Yes, mate.
We don't hear about many one-club men nowadays. What has made you stay at Wycombe Wanderers?
Complete mixture of things. I never set out to do it. I made one appearance for my boyhood club at Ipswich when I was 18, 19 maybe. And then I signed here. I signed an 18-month contract, and my intention was to come here for 18 months and move back up again. I wanted to use this as a springboard to step back up. Then John Gorman came as manager. I loved playing for John Gorman. Signed a new contract, so I loved being here. Then he left. Then Paul Lambert came. We had a great League Cup run. Loved playing for him. Signed another contract. You know, under John Gorman I could have left, but I wanted to stay. Then I was coming to the end of my contract under Paul Lambert. Then I did my cruise ship. I was out for 9 months. I signed another contract. Before you know it, you're 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the line, and you become immersed in the club. Then you look at your testimony and think, wow, that'd be amazing to do. So you stay a bit longer and you love it here. And before I know it, it's 15 years down the line. It's been crazy. It's gone in the blink of an eye. I remember when I was been here maybe a year or two, there was an experienced striker called Tommy Mooney who said, you know, enjoy it every season. Before you know it, you blink your eye and it's just gone. And he's right. I'm now 34, coming up 35, and it's gone so quickly. But I never set out to stay so long. But once you stay somewhere and you enjoy it, I'd like to think I'm quite a sort of a loyal character, and I've enjoyed it, and there's been no real reason to leave. And I've ended up being here so long, so it's been great. Love it.
I hope I'm right, but I read that your contract ends this summer. Do you plan to extend it to stay at Wycombe?
No, I've got one more year. So I was coming up in the summer, just gone. Luckily for me, coming up to the end of a year when you're out of contract, we've had a successful season, which obviously makes a renegotiation a lot easier. So we were doing really well. I think March, maybe. I think I signed, agreed a new contract, which 2 months before the end of the season was great. 2-year extension at 34. Was absolutely delightful, so I'm really chuffed doing that. So I've got another 2 years, I'll take me to 36. I can genuinely say I've got a knock on my knee at the minute, so I'm not playing, but apart from that, I feel as fit as I've done for years and years, so hopefully there'll be more after that, but at this stage, who knows, you just have to, since I've turned 30, I've kind of been lucky enough that I've been managed to enjoy my football a lot more than previously before 30, because I was worried about contracts and winning and losing and getting picked, but since 30, I just decided, right, I'll enjoy it, because it will be over one day, and I think that's probably why I'm playing some of my better football since turning that age.
You spoke about playing under Gareth and having played with him as well. Is management something you see yourself doing as well?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm doing my coaching badges at the minute. I've done a media degree and I've got sort of other interests, but football I think it's the only thing I've known since I left school. I left in the year 2000, so nearly 19 years ago. So it's all I've known. It's in your blood. I love the game. I love thinking about it, talking about it, boring people about it, whatever the case may be. So I'd like to do management coaching, whether that be youth or men. I think when you've been involved in professional games so long, Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock is a bit of a drug. You know what I mean? Getting that win. So I think if I can stay in the game in the men's, it'd be great. But equally, I love coaching and seeing kids develop. I've done that for my badges. So yeah, I think management and coaching would be my idea. Yes.
We'll come back here one day to be management.
Yeah, maybe if the opportunity arises, then great. If it's a coaching capacity, then great. If there isn't anything, I move on somewhere else. Then so be it. I think again, I had a bad injury 10 years ago with my knee, and it was a real sort of hit home moment. Thinking, by the way, if this all ends, like what am I going to do next? You know what I mean? So I did my degree, I started coaching badges, and I'd like to think that I'm just trying to educate myself in different areas. So if an opportunity arises in the future, I'm able to walk through that door and take it. So yeah, coaching and management, if it's at Wickham, then great. If an opportunity doesn't rise if it's somewhere else, then so be it. So, but yeah, obviously, being here for so long, it'd be great to continue that.
Just to go back to the Chippy Trophy, you being a mistake with the club, obviously Wickham doesn't have any youth system or any sort of system like that. Now, how do you think Wickham perceives the competition obviously different from like Oxford or anyone else in the competition?
Yeah, well, I think a club like Oxford, who maybe has more money than us, has a big budget than us, doesn't need the prize money maybe, so they see it as an opportunity to plug some of their youngsters, give them experience. Because obviously a club like that spends so much on their youth system, I'm not sure how much they spend, but they need to see boys through to the first team, so nights like tonight are ideal for them. Whereas we're looking at it as, you know, prize money, minutes for the other lads to make sure they're sharp if they need it on Saturday or the week after. So I'm sure the two clubs have got slightly different sort of views on the competition, but equally the main aim for both teams is to win, and that might come in different form. But for us, we certainly look at it as a game we want to. I think as long as we don't lose, we're through. So, you know, and then the next round is you're closer to step, closer to Wembley. I've been in the game 20 years. I've only ever played there once, so I'd love to go back again. And you know, for the young lads, you think, oh, you've got loads of time. You play at Wembley one day, but that's the pinnacle, isn't it? You know, and I've only got to do it once, so the opportunity to go back there and check the trade or play a final, it doesn't really matter as long as you get there and play there. Then it'd be amazing. So it's a great opportunity for us. I'm not sure how many more rounds there is after you get through this, maybe another 4 games after this, something like that, I think. But, you know, we got to the semi-finals 2 years ago and we were 1 game away from Wembley, and to lose that was really disappointing. So if we can get that far again and give ourselves a chance, then great. Yeah.
So budget is a big topic, so how do you feel that affects the team and how do you guys do that?
No, I think it's a positive for us, because we only have lads here who are hungry to do well. You know, there might be bigger contracts and everything else on offer elsewhere, and there's clubs who spend a lot more money now. But we use it as a positive because we've got lads here who are hungry to do well. The gaffer recruits the right characters, and I'm sure he'd probably tell you different at times, having a bit more money. But in my eyes, it's been a positive for him because he's been able to make sure he gets the right people to come here rather than just people who want to earn as much money as they can out of games. You know, there's different characters in any walk of life, and we've been very lucky that Gaff's got a great eye for character. He does his homework on the player and also the person behind the player as well. So, in my eyes, it's been positive for us. I'm sure he'd say different at times. He'd like to spend a bit more money, but we've always been able to recruit since the manager's been here, recruit the right people, and a team of good people and good players is better than a team of good individuals. So it's a bit of a cliche, but the Gaffer's been able to do that to the team. That's why we've been able to achieve for the last 4 or 5 years. If we survive that, basically.
There's a couple more questions because you're really true to come in. There's a hand over there that keeps showing up.
Sorry.
It's okay, don't worry. What is your favourite memory or moment that you've had over the last 15 years being here?
Oh, good question. Testimonial night was amazing. That was amazing. Getting promoted last year was probably my most enjoyable promotion because it felt like we achieved it against the odds slightly, and it felt like we really had to kind of fight together for that. And as silly as it sounds, probably my favourite moment was away at Torquay 5-6 years ago. We went there and we were, for all intents and purposes, we were relegated. 2 teams had to lose and we had to win. Last game of the season, and it all happened. And it's not just the relegation. If we had got relegated, we might have gone into administration. The club might have been part-time. I wouldn't have been there anymore. The manager wouldn't have been, you know, and it could have changed the club as we know it. So although I don't like to celebrate near failure, the fact that we avoided that day, the euphoria of that day when we all went down on the bus, you know, everyone apart from the gaffer thought we were going out the league. He believed, and he made all of us believe, and we achieved it. So in a weird way, although it's not a celebration, it kind of was, because at that point I was been here 10 years. It was actually my testimonial season, and to fall out the league at that point would have been, yeah, horrible. And the club, like I say, could have been really, really, really bad. So yeah, that might be it.
Last question is going to be, I think. On the other hand, do you have any regrets from your career? Like, do you have any opportunities you thought you might have missed?
Good question, very good question. Do I have any regrets? No, because I love being here. I've made some friends for life. I've got to know so many supporters, and I'm not sure if you move around clubs you get that same kind of fulfilment maybe. But obviously there's been opportunities along the way that I've had to make decisions, stay, leave, blah, blah, blah. And I always wanted to play at a high level. I've never really achieved what I set out to achieve by playing at the level, but I've loved being here, and if that's what my career was going to be, and that's how it was all set out for me, then I'm great. I've loved every minute of it, and being here, I wouldn't change it for the world, no regrets.
What a way to finish.
Yeah, great.
Ladies and gentlemen,